Hey everybody, Sam here. Before we start the show, sometimes we play a little prank on somebody, and this time it's not so much a prank, but a bet. So I've got Beau Rigby here, a listener and Patreon patron, and a Hall of Fame member, and he's co-hosting. Hey, Beau.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good. So you're going to co-host with us now. I want to make a little wager with you, though. In this episode, we are going to see David Aykroyd, the actor, play someone named Mr. Knapp, but he was previously Trumbo from Trumbo's World. The episode we reference more than any other. But we know, if you know that you listen to the show, you know Jeff always fails to recognize actors when they get recast in MacGyver. Let's have a little wager. Let's predict. Do you think Jeff is going to recognize this actor, David Aykroyd, as being Trumbo from the season 1 episode?
Absolutely not. I do not believe he'll get it. He has in the past. I don't believe he's gotten one right. So no, he ain't gonna get this one. Even though this one is very easy.
Okay, see, I just feel like he has a shot with this one. I think maybe he's going to stare into. We've done all these promos. We reference it all the time. We have cut promos with Trumbo. He's going to look into that face and say, "I know that face." He's got to. So I'm going to say he's going to recognize Trumbo, and we'll just have a pinky bet, whatever. When I see you, when we do see you, I'll buy you a sandwich if you get it right, and vice versa. But let's start the show.
All right.
Beau Rigby says Jeff won't recognize Trumbo as Trumbo, and I say he somehow will get this one right.
Tonight, MacGyver's life is on the line when the shady developer of a new marina hires a beautiful woman to scare Mac away from the project. Do you think Sam and Jeff will get bogged down in their review by perhaps MacGyver's most attractive female co-star yet? Find out next on Making Fun of MacGyver. It's Making Fun of MacGyver, a rib-tickling takedown of our favorite 80s adventure show, Sesame Street. No, it's MacGyver, starring Sam Jordan as the skeptic and Jeffrey Hess as the scientist.
Name's MacGyver.
Welcome, everybody, to Making Fun of MacGyver. It's the show where we recap, review, and lovingly ridicule every episode of the original series. If you can handle some absolute nonsense, but creative nonsense with your MacGyver, then you are so in the right place. I'm Sam Jordan, your host, and as usual, I'm joined by my fellow MacGyverite, the EPA of the gathering, Jeffrey Hess.
Executive producer associate or environmental protection agency?
It's your call, my friend. What would you like it to be today?
Okay, I want to be the environmental one. Yeah, I want the government power at my back. I want to bring down the hammer of the feds on all of you.
And this time we got the Army Corps of Engineer of the bunch, Beau Rigby.
Hi guys. Engineer. That's a bad word where I come from.
Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, mechanics and engineers. Yeah.
Now we're machinists, because engineers need heroes too.
Guys, I must ask you to put a momentary pause on your respective carefree, happy-go-lucky personas for just a second to seriously consider this powerful question. Are you ready to see more hot but dangerous women than like 5 episodes of The Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling?
I don't think I am.
Beau,
I'm not prepared for this.
We need you, Beau. Otherwise, we stop the show if you're not ready for this.
No, let's go. Let's go for it.
I lose the vote.
So come on, we're bringing Jeff along.
Nothing I hate more than hanging around with beautiful women. Sheesh.
Oh, good, because we're moments away from Making Fun of MacGyver. It's our 79th episode, the 59th episode of MacGyver. We've taken it to consideration, and this one is season 3, episode 15, The Negotiator. I got no sound cut for that. I just couldn't think of what to play for The Negotiator. And if I may offer you a metaphor here, if you're looking for a tone, like a projected tone of what this episode will be, I would say after coming down from the high of the road to RDA and Mike talking with Richard Dean Anderson, I would say this episode will be like the cigarette after the amazing sex kind of thing. And Jeff, I'll explain that to you because you're probably not aware of what I'm talking about, and not because you've never smoked before. You certainly have. You've smoked many times, cigarettes. But see, it was a common Hollywood cliche for a man and woman to partake in a cigarette after making some really great, sweet love back in the olden days. So
Yeah, that's how they would fade to black and they would fade back out and they'd both be there. You know, if it were after the 50s, they'd be in the bedroom. If it were before that, they wouldn't be even be in the bedroom. But that was
Mhm.
the indicator that they had knocked the boots. Actually, sex scenes in movies have taken like a complete nosedive since the mid 2000s, and you barely see them.
And I remember you telling me recently, like they kind of annoy you when you're seeing that
Mm.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess I got older, I
It
guess,
annoys
and I
me
just
too.
see. This is probably why they're not in vogue
Yeah.
anymore.
Beau, you've got beef with boudoir boot knocking?
Yeah, I don't really need to. I don't really need to see some, the scenes. You kind of get the gist. You don't need to. The more prolonged they are, the worse they are. That's how I
Hmm.
feel.
Okay. Well, with that out of the way, let's get to our opening gambit. Jeff, let me check in with you. How you feeling? How you doing? We're into May now, practically.
I'm terrific. The road to RDA was great. Mike had such a
Oof, yeah.
wonderful time. It's so amazing that he was able to get that for us. So I really enjoyed being able to come on that experience. The additional tension's wonderful, but I'm ready to get back to regular episodes.
Yeah, and Jeff, he is back, as you know. He is the ultimate CNC machinist. He's duct taped raccoons when he's actually accidentally run over them. He's saved people's lives pulling them from burning cars. He's living on a prayer. He's a distinguished member of the Making Fun of MacGyver Listener Hall of Fame. And now he is officially our longest serving Patreon patron ever. The one, the only, Beau Rigby. Welcome back to the show.
Does it, Beau Rigby?
Thank you so
That-
much. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to be back. It's been a long time since I've been here, but I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, so let's see. We haven't seen you since March 27th, 2022 when we recorded Partners with you. You chose a great one there because that was the first episode of Murdoch. So, but then we kind of mentioned you a few times over the past year when we heard about a Hurricane Ian in October
Yeah.
of last year. So if any listeners remember that, what's the final tally on the damage and like just life impact that had on you and your loved ones?
Well, it hit my area pretty hard. We were without power for like a week, but more importantly, it destroyed my father's house. 17 feet of water came into the island that I grew up on, my hometown. So anything that was the first floor just kind of get washed away throughout the entire island. A lot of houses, a lot of buildings, a lot of the older buildings were completely destroyed. Um, the house I grew up in is still there, but it's unlivable right now as they're still building it. Um, my elementary school is gone, but they're rebuilding it. So a lot of my old childhood memories, a lot of the places where I used to know and hang out are gone, and that really hurt. When I went down there and saw it, it really hurt to see them gone, and that knowing that people won't experience the beach like I did when I grew up, and it'll be more commercialized and everything like that. But it's going to come back. People are rebuilding already. It's people have a fighting spirit and they rebuild, and that's what we're doing. So my hometown will be back. It just won't be the same, but it'll be back.
We're really, sorry
Oh,
to
my
hear
father's
that.
doing
And,
good. My father's doing good. He got another house and everything, so he's doing really well, and he's liking where he is. So it all worked out in the end for us, but it was challenging.
And Beau, I don't think we mentioned what spot of Florida. We always mention you're in Fort Myers.
It was Fort Myers Beach, Florida.
Okay.
Fort Myers Beach.
Fort Myers Beach, right.
Yeah.
Happy to have you here, though. Happy to, like you said, you're our longest patron now. You just, I think, last month you eclipsed Mia from Australia, who unfortunately we have not heard from in over almost a year. I'd say we kind of haven't heard from her when we message her on Facebook. So Mia, if you're listening, please, we miss you.
Come home.
But Beau, you're hanging in there, man. You're our longest patron, and somehow you're getting some kind of value out of this. Is what you're telling us? You're supporting the show.
Oh yeah, definitely. You guys are great. I love this show. I love listening to it. It's when you guys come out with a new show, I'm always happy about it. I'm like, yeah, this is great.
Jeff rubbing his nipples.
I
right now
listen to you
for
guys
some
on,
reason.
on the way to work or on the way home from work or during my lunch
Right,
break or whatever.
right.
We almost got to be listening to earbuds at work, but they took that away.
Oh, boo.
I was
And were you
I
proud
know.
of your buddies here? Mainly Mike, but were you proud of us for MacGyvering a quick little interview with Richard Dean Anderson?
Oh man, I was psyched. I knew you guys would do it. I knew you guys would pull it off. I had no doubts that you guys were going to talk to RDA.
Yeah, guys, don't be fooled by that Richard Dean Anderson interview. Mike stood in an autograph line with the general public for hours just to get that 10-minute chat. We remain a small underdog of a show that needs all the support it can get to keep chugging along. So we would love it if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's really one of the easiest asks. If you just ever signed in to your Google account and you subscribe to YouTube, like you don't even get emails or notifications or anything. It's just, but it would help us out. So search for Making Fun of MacGyver on YouTube. And we're going to talk more about YouTube in a second. And if you want to throw a little something in the tip jar and get the perks that come with it, like Beau here, like occasionally guest hosting, like Beau, go to patreon.com/Making Fun MacGyver. Pick a tier that works for you, $5, $10, or $15 a month. You can do 1 month or 1 year or even more, like Beau here, if you want to live large. Beau, when you last guest hosted with us, show announcer Vern Sanderson came on, interrupted the viewer mail. He kind of gave you a tongue lashing, as he does everyone, but we apologize for that. We've locked him up in his booth for this episode. So
I have forgiven him. You know, I realize that I shouldn't be angry towards him. I've forgiven him. He's okay. I know how he is. He's,
he's
once you understand a person,
exactly. We'll pass that along that you forgive him. We'll. I doubt that affects how he feels about you, but we will pass along that you forgive him.
like he cares.
But one thing we have done since you joined us last year is we've shortened up that viewer mail thing.
Way too long. Way too long.
Guys, let's talk a little bit about our YouTube channel, because we started this podcast April 18th, 2020. And then we didn't post something on YouTube, I believe, till September of that year. So that we were in no rush. We've posted a total all time, I believe, of 48 videos on the YouTube channel. And for the most part, just about the level of success you would expect for where our show stands. However, I would just like to read for you our top performing by views videos of all time. So let's see, because some of these you just can't figure out what's the deal. So you got How I Created MacGyver by Lee Davis Lodoff, the full hour-long interview with Lee Davis Lodoff that it was an exclusive last year. Jeff, how many views do you think on our 1 hour sit down with LDZ do you think we have on that?
So I don't know the answer to these. I haven't looked, and he's not like setting me up for something, but I'm gonna guess that one did not hit 5 figures, and we'll go with 8,000 views.
8,000 views. We've got 334 views on our interview with Lee Davis Lodoff.
You said success commensurate with the level of our podcast, and I guess I was overestimating the level of our podcast success.
All right. I don't know if that's number 10 or 9. I'm just starting up from like 334. Next most popular view, with 9 more views, the R.I.P. Pepe Sanchez video.
Yeah, he got done dirty. Pepe didn't deserve it.
Pepe. Now, right after that.
That was a good
So
one.
if MacGyver could rap, the spoof of the Hamilton song, I'm Not Firing a Single Shot, that I put blood, sweat, and tears in. You guys helped as well. A 2.5-minute video. It's got its own graphic and all original lyrics. Take a guess how many views that one has.
Well, more than 334.
Yeah.
Are you going sequentially?
Yes.
Or are you skipping 330 or 353?
It's got 447 views. If MacGyver could
Okay.
rap. I mean, that is a travesty. That it has just 100 more views than R.I.P. Pepe Sanchez, which was just a quick cut and paste job about Pepe Sanchez. So
Where's Great Histories and Close Reading? That's one of my favorite ones.
So next up, making great moments in unwanted face touching. Just a short 29-second clip, 581 views. Making Fun of MacGyver, Lost Love Part 1 promo, 620. Now we get into the thousands. How many times will they say MacGyver? From the Target MacGyver, no, not the Target, the DOA MacGyver episode last year, 1,000 views. And that's where they shattered the record with 46 times saying MacGyver. At 2,300 views, will MacGyver shave Pete's cubes? I'm fine with that. I think it even deserves more than that. But you cannot say that sentence. When you said that sentence to me, Jeff, on the show a few weeks ago, I reacted as if you were saying something raunchy. But that phrase, no matter how many times you say it, just feels naughty to say it.
Yeah, it's like saying the word moist.
Will MacGyver shave Pete's cubes? Beau, have you ever seen that video, that promo?
I have. Yep.
And it's
Yep.
just talking about ice cubes. I mean, it's just like it's only as naughty as your guilty mind will let you believe. So that's got 2,300 views. Next up, at 5,400 views, making fun of MacGyver. Great moments in taking care of women. That's with some sneaky editing where a woman, the pregnant woman, starting to give birth or having the pains in the car, but MacGyver goes under the car and let your mind wander there. Previously, the all-time leader is finally, we have lyrics to the MacGyver theme song, which was posted back in February of 21. And that's where we put some lyrics to this great theme song we all know and love, but it never had lyrics. So that has 67.
Wait. Oh, okay. I was gonna guess. I knew it was in the lows. I knew it was in the 60s last time we talked about it several months ago. So
it's got 67,000 views.
67. Wow. Well, that deserves it. That's a good one.
See?
That really is a good one. You guys did really well on that.
Sam is salty because he put a lot of work into the rap.
Of course. Anyway, so that's been up for 2+ years. It's got 67,000 views, and that's been the big breadwinner. It's got 65 comments, got 503 likes at a 93.8% clip. Okay, but now.
Hey, wait, real quick. Have you delved into those 65 comments?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
What's the general?
Everyone,
gist there?
no, they love it. They like it.
Oh, people love it. Oh, great.
Oh, yeah. Now, a month ago, not even a month ago, we post the Richard Dean Anderson speaks at Steel City Con 23 video, 47 minutes. It's just the complete sit down. Been up less than a month. As I look now, it's got 74,000 views.
This has got 6-figure potential on it.
Whoa. Wow.
192 comments, 1,000 likes.
Wow. That's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for viewer mail, I just wanted to I haven't hand-picked any comments. These are the most recent comments right now, just refreshing because they're bringing in subscribers and everything, and it's great. So here we go. I'm not going to name names. Just no one could replace RDA as MacGyver. MacGyver is in the dictionary as a verb. How special is that? That's one comment. Another comment. This man was my hero when I was a kid. He always inspired me to try and find creative ways to fix things and to help build my mechanical abilities and critical thinking skills. Next comment. One of my favorite shows growing up. Next. What happened to his teeth at 43.25? I don't know what that means.
He's in his 70s.
Next
That's
one.
what happened.
Next comment. His voice is a little bit off, both in terms of nervousness and it sounds a bit raspy. Glad to see he has lost weight, though.
Whoa.
Next, God, I need to see him back with a heart emoji. Next up, that was wonderful. I was in my 20s during MacGyver, and I loved that show. Stargate was brilliant. I love the wisecracking, sarcastic O'Neill. So different from MacGyver, but just as smart. He looks very good for 73.
Yeah, but see, that's why MacGyver's better than O'Neill. MacGyver is a better character than Jack O'Neill.
I've never seen a full episode of
definitely.
Stargate, but I'm going to agree.
I've already made the case for that to be our next podcast.
Oh, wow.
That or the show Sliders. There's only 2 seasons of that.
My wife and I just went through the entirety of Stargate. All of it.
Which one? SG-1 or and Atlantis?
So we went SG-1, then we went Atlantis, then we went Universe, then we went the 2 movies.
Aren't there like 300 episodes of Stargate Atlantis? There's some like absurd number of Stargate Atlantis episodes.
No, it's only like 5 seasons, I think.
Oh, maybe it's just on TV a lot.
So that's the update on this video, which is 75,000 views in a month, and it's taken us. We only have one video anywhere near it, and it's taken us 3 years, and it's silly lyrics. So just good luck trying to figure out YouTube. Is basically the moral of that story, and we would so appreciate it if you could give us a subscribe there because we're coming up on 500 subscribers. This video has helped a lot, but 1,000 is that magic number we need to hit to actually earn any pennies on any of the videos. So, folks, just a quick subscription to YouTube. Thank you in advance.
Wrap some duct tape around the like and subscribe button.
Mm-hmm. Guys, let me take you back now to Monday, March 7th, 1988. The number one movie in the country remains, Jeff, can you tell me what it is?
Is it Crocodile Dundee?
Beau, do you have any idea what the number one movie was in March of 88? It's been at the number one for several weeks as we've been talking about it. Jeff keeps forgetting, but now I think he might remember.
I do remember, I think.
I have no idea. Wait a minute. No, I don't know.
If you know it, you got to do it. You can't just know it. You got to do it.
You can't just say it. You got to get into
You
it.
got to go, good morning, Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. I remember now. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that, Beau?
Just the clip. That's that one clip where he says, good morning, Vietnam. That's all
That's
I've
all you
seen.
need, really.
I mean, the only reason to watch it is because Robin Williams is just magnetic whenever he's on screen, and he's young and really in the groove of his powers at that point. But I have an important Fatal Attraction update.
Paramount Plus series?
There is a television reimagining of the movie. Google describes it this way: an affair threatens the lives of Dan Gallagher and his wife Beth in this reimagining of the movie, exploring marriage and infidelity through the lens of modern attitudes towards strong women, personality disorders, and coercive control.
You think you and your wife will watch it?
She brought it to me, so that's kind of an indication she would be interested in watching it. I saw a couple of teaser clips about it. It looks like a lot of it is like it takes place after the murder. So, spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie. After the murder and then like looking backwards. So most of it takes place in the court hearing, and I read a lot of it is court procedural stuff and lawyer procedural stuff, and that doesn't really do it for me. So we'll see. But
okay,
Fatal Attraction had another, I don't know if it's as long as the Good Morning Vietnam run, but it was the top movie, and I watched it in the winter, and I thought it was fantastic. So I'm amazed they're doing this reboot starring Pacey from Dawson's Creek, among others.
Sometimes you say, like, what are we doing sitting here talking about MacGyver? What are we doing sitting here talking about Fatal Attraction? Well, sometimes those are proven to be still the best ideas for content, and they come around and like you're like, hey, you know what? Yeah, they're actually remaking that movie into a show or remaking MacGyver or whatever. And usually the original's the best, but it is cool to see these properties coming back.
And Pacey from Dawson's Creek also, if you like Stargate and Sliders, he was in the show called Fringe, which is a really great like spooky sci-fi show that he starred in. His real name's Joshua Jackson, but to me he'll always be Pacey from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
And he's got a black wife, which I approve of.
All right. Well, the number one song in the country remains Father Figure, which, as we learned when I sang it, doesn't have too much. I mistakenly dedicated it to my dad and found out there's a lot of nudity involved in there. And my dad is still not talking to me. Yeah. But George Michael, still number one at the box office. And I sang this one previously. So, Beau, a lot of times we make our guest host sing it, but I think I don't think you could top your Living on a Prayer rendition you did last year. And plus, we also didn't tell you about singing this beforehand, and also you don't want to do it.
Let's just spare the audience this one. I mean, I'm sure that I scarred a few people from last time.
Yep. So, Beau, it's a treat you getting Jeffrey Hess here to sing Father Figure for you live, at least through the first chorus.
To me.
And unfortunately, it takes a while to get to this chorus.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a sandwich. Beau, if you need to do anything, just sit back and enjoy.
Cream me again.
Try it again. Here it comes. This time around. That's all I wanted. Is something special, something sacred in your eyes. For just one moment, to be bold and naked at your side. Sometimes I think that you'll never understand me. Maybe this time is forever. Say it can be. Oh, that's all I wanted. Something special, someone sacred in your life. Just for one moment, to be warm and naked at my side. Sometimes I think that you'll never understand me, but something tells me together we'd be happy. Oh, baby, be your father figure, put your tiny hand in mine. I will be your preacher, teacher, everything you have in mind. I will be your father figure. I have had enough of crime. I will be the one who loves you till the end of time.
Wow.
Awesome. Good job.
I'm applauding, but I don't know why.
Better than the original.
Hey, just like
Um,
our podcast, better than the original MacGyver.
Okay. But better than how I sang it
Oh
last
no,
time.
that was
I mean,
funny
I don't
too.
know.
We will have to have a showdown. Me and Mike had a showdown after
Oh
season
yeah,
2.
I gotta say I've grown fonder of George Michael in like the last 10 years than I ever did back in the 80s. Like his songs didn't do anything for me, but like I've understood now his singing chops, like really good singing chops. Do you want to dedicate that song?
I guess I'll dedicate it to my wife because I mean, if I told her about my girlfriend, that would probably upset things.
I thought.
Yeah,
Wait
there
a
you go.
second. I thought you were dedicating it to me.
Does it, Beau
Okay.
Rigby?
I'm joking, guys.
Oh.
Joking.
All right. Well, all the shenanigans are out of the way now. Let's get down to the meat of making fun of MacGyver, which is the MacGyver. Now, I'm going to hand over the reins of the show to the next level of MacGyver narrators, the gentleman, Jeffrey Hess.
Thank you so much, Sam. Let's get it going. We begin on the beach where MacGyver is doing some research, and he's approached by a sleazy-looking lawyer called Mr. Remnick, who is upset that it's taking MacGyver so long to finish studying this beach.
MacGyver! Mr. Remick?
It's beautiful, isn't it? And it won't change, you know. I mean, I don't know what you think you're protecting. We don't want to see it change either. The beauty of this land enhances the value of our own investment. I mean, do you think we're fools? Act against our own interests?
I think your company's first priority is to get your marina built.
Oh, come on. You've read the geologist reports, the oceanographic reports. They all say everything is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, well, our research says that a breakwater over there might erode the beach here, drain the salt marshes.
So Remick here is upset that MacGyver is restudying this project that they want to do. This is an extremely mid-1980s plot of, the showdown between big government and developers. And he tries to pay MacGyver off. It really doesn't work. And so he issues a slightly veiled threat there, which he cashes in on basically immediately. He leaves the area. The lawyer Remick flashes a truck, and MacGyver is coming down the road, and that truck comes right after him. And the truck's running him down, and MacGyver's trying to get away, and he's like waving the guy to go by, and the little Jeep is a piece of crap, and it can't go any faster, and the truck is ramming the Jeep, and MacGyver reaches over, grabs a fire extinguisher, leans out the window, and sprays the fire extinguisher behind him. It goops up all over the truck window, which crashes the truck, and the truck driver gets off and literally runs away into the Everglades, or wherever the hell they are. And that brings us to our very first Does It MacGyver?
Does it, MacGyver?
So he's trying to use this fire extinguisher as a smokescreen, and in the show, it like comes out in like a gloopy, almost like gooey kind of way, and sticks to the windshield of the truck, blinding the driver. However, according to Fire Protection Online, these are actually the ones you keep in your car, are actually powder fire extinguishers. It's important to remember that fire extinguishers don't actually put flames out. What they do is they replace oxygen with carbon dioxide, which smothers them. So for a powder fire extinguisher or a dry chemical extinguisher, there's usually something that's just like baking soda under pressure that's in there. And so when you open the handle, it sprays out in a cloud or a mist, but not in a gloopy kind of goo that would glom onto a windshield like that. Additionally, they're traveling at pretty high speeds because this is a high-speed chase. So the mist would just dissipate immediately into the air. So it is neither a gloopy mess, even if it weren't a gloopy mess, it wouldn't work. So this does not MacGyver.
Doesn't MacGyver, but we don't have time for the full story, really. But Beau, before we start recording, you told us, you know what? I need a fire extinguisher in my car like Mac has. And I think maybe that'd be smart for all of us, right? But
Right.
you had a real life incident. Can you summarize that, why you think you would need a fire extinguisher in your car, a story?
Well, yeah. My way home from work, I saw a car on fire, and I stopped, and there was a person in the car that I barely got out in time before he was burned to death. I was able to pull him out of the burning car. I didn't have a fire extinguisher with me. It would have been helpful, but I didn't have one. Probably should put one in there, like I carry around duct tape. But yeah, I pulled him out. He survived. We got him out in the nick of time, and it was a great night that I was able to save a life.
Well, kudos to you. Man, that's a great job. Feel good about that. And thank you for making the world a better place. And how many of us even have fire extinguishers in the house right now? I don't think I do. We all should.
I
I
do.
definitely have them in the house because when my first son was born, I went on like a completely stereotypical safety preparedness dad spree.
All right.
So we cut to a boardroom where Mac is doing his best to defend the environment against the evils of this lawyer and his project. They want to build a marina at this beach, and Mac is convinced that it's going to destroy not just the environment at the marina and the beach, but like basically all of the environment. Mac's pretty convinced that all of life on Earth will cease to exist if this marina gets built. And this pisses off the lawyer, who starts yelling at Mac, but the lawyer's boss like calms him down, and they agree to the extended time. And so the board guys are like, okay, Mac, you get 3 more weeks. You got 3-week deadline to do a little preliminary test, and then if you need more time, we'll give you more time, but you got this 3 weeks to figure it out. Nikki is there. Her haircut is terrible.
Oh, isn't it? Oh, it was awful. Don't they change your hair like every episode?
Kind of, yeah.
Oof, that's real bad. I don't know if they like tried to pretty her down because of what's coming up or what, but that's not great. Bad haircut. Also,
Right.
Mac is in a suit, which Pete makes fun of him for. Pete never not in a suit. He went skiing in that suit. Mac never in a suit. He's in a suit this time. But they do give him.
I got to stop you right there, Jeff. I got to stop you right there. Because I don't think you're going to call out what I predicted you would call out, despite me knowing your reputation better than anyone.
Am I not recognizing somebody again?
Oh, my goodness.
A big somebody.
So the actor's name is David Aykroyd. Not Dan Aykroyd, David Aykroyd. And Jeff, you've never let me down more than, well, I don't know if this is, I'm not sure if this is worse than you not recognizing Alyssa Davalos as
Like the next episode. It was like,
the next episode be a totally different person.
They changed her name, and I'm like, oh, it's a new person.
Bo, why don't you do it? Bo, tell us who David Aykroyd previously played on MacGyver.
He was Trumbo from Trumbo's World.
Oh no!
Trumbo. Yes.
Was this cast by Fiona Jackson?
Trumbo's World.
Probably, but shame
Wow,
on you.
I
You're
am-
looking at the face of Trumbo.
This is an embarrassing one. Okay, but
Oh
this was
my
like 3 years
goodness.
ago. I mean, I can't remember a face from 2 weeks ago. This feels like a setup. Also,
I just thought there's.
Uh,
So before the episode, we remember we used to play pranks sometimes on Mike. For me and Bo got together and made a prediction whether you will recognize him. And for some reason, I thought this one would register, and you would say, "Wait, I know that face." And Bo was like, "No, I don't think he's getting
No.
know it."
And no, I went with history. I know, this is history. I know
see,
it.
Bo pays
yeah.
attention to the show, Sam.
Oh, and by the way, here's some trivia for you. Does anyone know what Trumbo's first name was in that episode? Because on IMDb, I discovered it. I did not know this was his first name in that episode. Very strange name. Lucien. Lucien.
Lucien
Lucien Trumbo.
Do they even say that? Well, that's what you get for having faith in me.
Oh my gosh.
If there would have been an echo effect on his name, I would have known. This is such a setup.
Born in Orange, New Jersey, May 30th, 1940. So he's 83 now. As far as I know, he's still alive, but he did a lot of TV in the 70s and 80s. So thank you, David Aykroyd. This will be his last of 2 appearances on MacGyver. We'll never see his face again, but Jeff wouldn't know. But man, Trumbo is back. How do you bring back Trumbo, Fiona Jackson, and not expect us to see, from the jungles with the ants, and he goes through, now he's David Aykroyd, sleazy, developer guy. Oh, gosh.
So the lead lawyer, the head guy, Knapp, David Aykroyd, not Trumbo, has a backup plan, and that backup plan is assassination. So he meets with a hit woman at a museum or something like that, and have a little exchange where he tells her, this is who we want killed, and she's like, no, I do my own research, just give me the money. And at the same time, she goes, hey, why are you even worried about this? Why do you want this guy dead so bad?
Are you sure you really need my services?
What?
Well, this MacGyver, he may study the data and tip in your favor.
Several years ago, I commissioned a survey. It's very technical, very subtle, but at the bottom of it is, if they do a detailed survey and study it carefully, they'll find out he's right. That beach will wash away.
What he should have said was, several years ago, I had a problem with ants at a remote
Oh, you
Brazilian.
stole my joke. I was going to say that at the bottom of it, it's ants. So Hit Lady takes the job and she immediately goes right to work. She starts spying. She sneaks into the houseboat. She bugs it and snoops around. She sees like Max reading a kind of flyer or something. She gets other pieces of information about him to build her own dossier. Later on, Mac comes back home. He's puttering around. He plays guitar, which is, did we know he could play guitar?
No.
Well, I think it surprised us a little bit. It shouldn't, because remember last episode, The Road to RDA, we talked about he was in a band in the early 70s. Before he did anything else acting, he was in a band.
But I thought he was
he
the
does know how
singer.
to play the guitar. Well, according to, I think, IMDb, they say he does know how to play the guitar because he was in that band. Rick Dean and the Rockettes or wherever it was. But yeah.
She forms 3 plans, which she types hilariously into her computer. She plans to buy him
I
off,
love this is so good.
scare him off, or my favorite, love him off.
I
Which
thought
is
that
exactly what it sounds
I
like.
thought that typing a computer was excellent. It was an excellent way to show the audience.
Yes.
I love that sequence. It was, oh God, it was so cheesy. What are some other ways you could blank someone off? I can't think of any. Like, what's another way besides you could?
Well, if there are too many of them coming around, you got to beat them off.
Right. You could beat him off the trail, I imagine. Like if you just want to be a real mean person to him, like you could jerk him off, just like be a real jerk about everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you participated in just the first pilot episode of a show that goes on to become very popular, you would be calling Zloading off.
Oh, and what if
Zloat them
you?
off.
What if you like become friends with him, but then you're just bad at everything you do? Like, bad at painting, like you suck. You just and he'll get frustrated by this. Like, you suck him off.
Got any, Beau?
No, I don't.
But she goes with love. Love conquers all.
She goes
So
with love.
she has to love him all.
Well, because it's a stupid list because they already tried to buy him and they already tried to scare him, and those both failed. So why even have them on the list? It's like me putting Diet Coke on my shopping list. Of course, I have it. Plan Love Off MacGyver gets into motion. So she goes and buys an adorable little beetle. She somehow finds out where he's taking painting classes, and she strategically places herself next to him. And I love this sequence. And this clip's really long, so if you want to play it underneath, but I'll set it up a little bit. Like he's painting next to her, and she's painting a river, an otter, and he's like, "Oh,
They're on the endangered list.
Yeah, I know.
I'm painting it for a fundraiser at the Darwin Society.
Yeah, I belong to that.
What a small world. Do you know Dolores Forchuk?
Yeah, sure. She just got a big grant to run some coral reef studies down in New Zealand, didn't she?
Mm-hmm. I begged her to take me along with her. Can you believe she said no? Even after I helped her write that acid rain article in last month's newsletter, which, of course, she took sole credit for.
You helped write that?
Yeah.
Terrific. I mean, it was great.
Thank you.
Listen, I don't mean to interrupt, but I've done a lot of research on acid rain, and maybe we could get together sometime and compare notes over a cup of coffee, maybe.
I don't drink coffee.
Neither do I.
Oh, snap!
That's smooth.
Operation Love
So
Him Off.
now we get love him off. We get a really great 80s montage for which there is significant, terrific 80s montage music of the two of them falling in love. Now I thought she said, "I don't drink, neither do I," but she says, "I don't drink coffee." So I really thought this was confirmation of sober MacGyver, but not quite there.
I'm already liking this episode. And by the way, we haven't talked about Christian Alfonso, perhaps the most attractive co-star yet on MacGyver.
Well, this is the time. Listen to this music.
But I just love how quintessentially cheesy 80s all this is. The typing on the computer, right? Like, I'm going to write down my ways I'm going to sabotage him. And then I'm painting a sea otter. I'm painting a sea otter next to you. And MacGyver...
A river otter.
A river otter. Oh, of course. Of course. You would recognize the
They
difference.
have different feet and a different tail.
I don't need to tell you
And
that.
they're both painting in white? Come on. Really?
MacGyver painting a goalie. MacGyver painting a goalie.
I know. It's so good.
Have you ever guys painted anything?
I've gone to a couple of... My wife, her undergrad work was all in art and stuff. So I've gone to those wine and paint nights. done some sceneries and stuff like that. I'm horrible,
Oh, me too.
but it's fun.
Oh yes, my wife dragged me those for a while. She got into that, and I would get paint all over me. So when I saw that white shirt and that white blouse she was wearing, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Bo, out of all the things you've painted, how many river otters have you done?
I've done 0 river otters, yeah, and 0 goalies.
But did you notice how Mac is so pure and not the typical guy, because he's having the conversation about acid rain and river otters and with a gorgeous woman, but he's not seeing her as that. He's not seeing her as an object of desire until she overloads. She just dumps all this chemistry, connections, things in common on him that he can't but help it. Okay, you know what? And then you just dropped your stuff. Like, oh, I didn't notice this gorgeous woman was an elbow's length away from me until she dropped all this stuff and talks about acid rain and river otters and the sea otter, whatever. And then finally, okay, hey, would you like coffee? Like, oh my God, he is really such a patron saint at this point. Long gone are the days when he'll throw a woman at someone and then eat a lizard with her and then have sex on the jungle floor.
He's very smooth. Very smooth.
Yeah, you guys are totally right. He's totally changed, and I really like that scene. That was a really well done scene.
He hasn't kissed someone, and they kiss at the end of the montage. And it's been a long time since we've seen MacGyver kiss someone, unless I'm forgetting an episode. Probably since the beginning of the season with Lisa.
She fully becomes his girlfriend, and if you've watched a lot of MacGyver episodes, that's a bad sign for Deborah. Don't want to become Mac's girlfriend.
Getting a plug for Dead Fictional Girlfriend's research report.
Well, I'm leaving it open-ended, so we'll find out if she makes it through to the end.
Okay.
So he, picks her up. They become an item. They're basically, they don't say it, but they're more or less boyfriend and girlfriend, or man friend and woman friend at this point. They're dating, they're partners. And he has taken her to the site where he's working. And he's walking her through the process, and she's doing a halfway decent job of pretending to be impressed. And Mac is just totally the environmental hero you would expect him to be. He takes the piss out of the fat cat yacht owners who want to destroy the beach, and he's got like this noble cause that he is defending with his very excessive work. Nikki is there; she's trying to get herself exploded, and that's when Deborah, the hit girl, realizes there's another soft point in MacGyver's armor that she can lean in on, and she goes to Nikki's apartment and kills her dog. And that's the end of Axminster 1.
Is Christian Alfonso the prettiest female co-star yet in an episode? What's your take?
I would say so, yes. Yeah. It's she's very familiar to me, actually. Very familiar, because my mom was hooked on Days of Our Lives, which she was on for many, 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 many years. And every evening...
Guess what? She still is.
She still is.
4,313 episodes since 1983. She's been on Days of Our Lives.
I'm
Christian Alfonso.
kind of connected that story in a way, because she got hooked up with Beau Rigby from Days of Our Lives, and my mom loved that couple, and I'm named after Beau Rigby from that show. That's how I got my name.
Whoa.
Yes.
Cool.
Is that why you picked this episode?
That's why I picked this episode, because it's connected to me in a little bit of a way.
Does it, Beau Rigby?
That is amazing. I love it.
Your take on Christian Alfonso?
I think she's like 2 strides ahead of the next most attractive Bond associate, except for the season 1, and I know it's not appropriate to call her this, but like the gypsy woman in The Thief of Budapest, who he goes to meet and has sex with after meeting her like 10 minutes. There's something about that woman that I like. But this woman, she stepped on the screen, and there's
those eyes,
yeah,
face,
it's like, there's beautiful, and then there's like whatever that is.
Yeah, it wouldn't take much to love me off, Christian.
Saying. She wouldn't have to paint any river otters or sea otters. She would just basically have to give me any of the slightest bit of attention, and I would be puppy dog.
If I'm standing next to her at an art class for a half hour, and then it's time to look at what I've put on my canvas, oh my God, it's going to be a stick goalie, like an arm, a leg, and a mask, and everything will just be me gawking at Christian Alfonso next to me. So kudos to MacGyver for that brilliant watercolor of a goalie.
And Christian Alfonso turned 60 in September. So long career, very successful. Congratulations to her. We ready for Axminster 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
Nikki is completely distraught at the murder of what we now learn is her neighbor's dog. And Nikki and Mac go to the Phoenix Foundation to talk to Pete because things are getting serious now. And Pete is putting the pieces together. Now it's not just the truck. Now it's the dog, and there's something else going on here.
What about the police? They find anything?
No prints, no witnesses, nothing.
Just like the truck driver who disappeared into thin air, huh?
Well, the detective said that they would talk to Knapp and his people, but as far as they're concerned, they're just going to treat it as an attempted burglary.
Listen, what happened to that dog was not the M.O. of a burglar. Somebody wanted to leave a mark, a threat.
There is no question in my mind that Stephen Knapp has hired a professional.
Well, he's certainly capable of it. And unless I miss my guess, his next move is going to be on you.
This is only a 3-week study that he's got, and these two fully fall in love,
exactly.
in like a heartbeat.
Yeah, this is a 3 weeks, but do you really need that long to fall in love?
No, I don't think so. So they cut to Hit Girl's apartment where she is building a bomb, and she has added a 4th option to her list: kill him off.
Now, to me, that was the moment in the episode. That was really good with that 4th. Yeah, that's why they had that rating right there.
The episode gets serious when that comes along. So she's back at the marina site with Mac, and he goes off in a boat or for some reason, and she straight up blows him up. She hits the explosion on the bomb. The boat explodes. There's a hilarious dummy. The MacGyver dummies are the best. Just the best. Hilarious dummy flips into the ocean, and I'm like, wow, they didn't waste any time. End of the MacGyver series. MacGyver's totally fucked.
Yeah, show over, series over. MacGyver somehow floats. What? Why would when you get blown out of a boat up into the sky and land in the water? I'm just wondering, why do you remain motionless and float at the top of the water? Why does that happen? I couldn't figure that out.
Too, right?
I did notice. I noticed it so much. I rewound it and watched it, I think 3 or 4 times in a row, just to really zoom in and make sure the body just sits there and lays motionless. And that explosion, you're going to tell me some eye scarring? That's all you get out of that explosion?
I know.
Wow.
So that is all he gets, because we cut to the hospital and we find out that Mac is temporarily blinded by the flash of this explosion. So they go to the houseboat where Pete is trying to help Mac, kind of like a role reversal from the time where Mac
hold on. I got to stop you. So they say that he was rescued by 2 divers, right? Laying mooring cable. I don't know what mooring cable is, but I do know who those 2 divers were: Stubbins and Marlowe.
Baboosh!
That's why you're
from downtown.
Mr. Hall of Fame. That's why.
The man knows his role. Terrific. So Mac shoos Pete away because Christian Alfonso is coming over to take care of him. And she's like, you know what? Let's get out of here. I'm definitely not trying to kill you. I don't want to separate you from your friends and family to murder you. So let's go on a vacation. And Mac agrees. And that is the end of Axminster 2.
I'm going to take you to a beautiful scenic mountaintop where you will not be able to see anything because you're temporarily blinded. But trust me,
open your eyes.
I will describe for you the beautiful mountains and the trees and the forest. But just, you got to take my word for it.
And don't worry about that cliff. It's not that close.
Oh, that's the end of Axminster 2. Okay, yeah, I'm loving this episode.
Yes.
I'm not going to hide. Beau chose a winner here. I'm liking it a lot. I guarantee you're going to get a good rating out of me. How high will I go? I don't know. But we got 2 Axminsters down, 2 to go. It's a good time for a time capsule commercial break, and we'll be right back after this.
Do I love picnics with everything from pepperoni to macaroni, chicken thighs to apple pies, all kept fresh in easy-to-use Ziploc sandwich bags. Ziploc sandwich bags are perfect for protecting all kinds of food. Oh, and another thing, Ziploc bags are sprinkle-proof.
Ziploc, we've got the lock on food protection.
It's another unforgettable moment with Making Fun of MacGyver.
It's clearly stock footage from something, but I don't know.
No,
what.
I got it. No, according to IMDb, this episode used footage from The Italian Job, 1969. All of the shots of the 3 minis racing the cops are lifted from the movie. This is one of the most egregious thefts of another intellectual property to create your own I've ever seen. And Jeff is just looking off in stunned silence and disbelief.
How is that legal?
Keep listening for more unforgettable moments with Making Fun of MacGyver.
Dom DeLuise for Ziploc bags. Does he look familiar to you, Jeff?
He does, but the name sounds way more familiar. You're never going to get me on what someone looks like, but their voice of their name.
He 70s and some 80s did a lot of stuff. Then he kind of became a little celebrity chef, I think. Or am I thinking of the other guy? But his big thing was the movies with Burt Reynolds. So Mike would definitely know him some Dom DeLuise. He did those Cannonball Run movies and all that stuff. How about you, Beau? Are you familiar with seeing Dom DeLuise there?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, there you go. How about, are you familiar with Ziploc bags? I think we all are, because I think they still got...
I am very familiar with Ziploc bags. Use them every day.
What kind of stuff do you put in a nice Ziploc baggie there, Beau? What kind of things?
I put in a sandwich, chips, Cheez-Its.
Okay.
Let's see. I take some vitamins. I put some supplements in there.
Jeff, what do you put in a Ziploc baggie?
Cannabis.
Yep. And nothing else, because,
nope. And that doesn't stay in there very long either. We begin Axminster 3 with they did an autopsy on the dog, which is hilarious. And they discover a key bit of information from this dog autopsy that leads them to a stunning revelation.
The pathology report says that there were traces of lynx hair in the dog's mouth.
Well, that certainly didn't come from me.
Well, then whoever killed that dog was wearing a lynx coat.
A woman.
Why didn't we think of that? I mean, 5 years ago, they used a woman to take out Joey Tartana.
Well, that was clever of them. A woman would have a better chance at getting close to MacGyver.
You're thinking what I'm thinking?
First of all, Nikki, how sexist of you to assume just because a lynx hair is found, a woman.
She's throwing so much shade on him, of course. So they figure it out, and they try to get a hold of Mac, and they call his houseboat. He's not there. They try to call his car phone, which he has in the 80s, and that doesn't work because wherever they're going, there happens to be a torrential downpour going on, so that doesn't work. So they put out an APB on MacGyver's Jeep, which Deborah, the hit girl, is driving. And they go to a police barricade, and she's like, has to come up with some...
Okay, hold on. I gotta stop you here. So they're like, yeah, put an APB out. Mac's license plate is blah, 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 blah. Like, he knows it right off the top of his head. I mean, come on. I don't even know my license plate.
I don't know my own.
Yeah,
didn't they show you a close-up of it? I don't know why we saw a close-up of the license plate either. That was just interesting, but...
Because they were doing a scene transition, Sam. They just gave you the information, let you know that the Jeep you're about to see is the one you're looking for.
Okay.
Come on, man. Jeez. So she takes him to an abandoned warehouse and immediately attacks him.
Oh, wait, I gotta stop you again. Sorry. When we're on the traffic.
Does it, Beau Rigby?
When they're at the traffic stop, right? She stops, turns off her lights, turns around and drives away. Nobody sees that and comes after her. You know, that's happened to me before. There was cops blocking the place, and I stopped. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go this way. I turned around, and one came after me and stopped me. Wait, where are you going? I saw your block on the road, and I don't want to go that way.
And what was the point of turning the lights off?
She turned the lights off so they couldn't see her, and then she backed up, and then went the opposite way, and then turned the lights
Why would you
back
turn the
on.
light? If you turn the lights off, you're going to draw attention from the police, I would think.
I would think somebody come after her.
Shows how much you guys know.
She's confusing me off, is what's happening here.
Yeah, she sped off after that. So they go to an abandoned warehouse, and Mac is like more or less helpless. And he's trying to fumble his way, and she's like chasing him around the place with a knife.
Yeah, she goes at him with a knife, right? And somehow, despite he's got the bandages over his eyes, right?
Yeah.
Somehow he hears the knife coming at him, and he swings away and actually hits a woman, which is like a very rare thing, but he actually hits her and knocks her down.
And then runs and hides.
I don't know. I don't know how he heard the knife coming. I guess
like a switchblade, kind of a click.
So he does, at this point, take the bandages off, and we see like through his point of view shot, and it's very blurry. So you can see a very minimal amount.
Yep.
And he's like throws a pipe to distract her, and of course it's an 80s television show, so she falls for it rather than immediately looking the other direction. This gives Mac an opportunity, and he rolls out of the Jeep, and he sets up our second and only other Does It MacGyver the episode.
Does It MacGyver?
And so he reaches in the back of the Jeep, pulls out a set of jumper cables, rolls under the Jeep, and loosens the nut on... First of all, this nut is way too loose on your Jeep. It's gonna fall off while you're driving. Tighten that shit up. You shouldn't be finger tight. But he undoes it, and then like a greenish liquid comes out, which is usually coolant. Initially, I thought it was oil, but I think it's coolant. So we're going to say that it's coolant. And he lets this puddle like build up around the Jeep and sort of draws her into it. And she steps into... So he then connects the car. He connects the jumper cables to the battery of the car somehow. She steps into the puddle, and he throws the jumper cables down in the coolant and electrocutes her, and she gets knocked out. So the question is, would any of this crap work? The short answer is no. The longer answer is no for several reasons. First of all, it's not the coolant. The coolant's fine. It's half water, and water's a very good conductor. No problem there. But I found an old article in the Denver Post written by the NPR car guys, Tom and Ray, for any of my old NPR heads who listened to that car guys show that was on there forever. And they say the 12 amps, the power of the battery, is enough to kill, but however, the 12 volts, which is the force at which it pushes that electricity, is not. The resistance of your skin is too much. In fact, the website lifewire.com says this Hollywood trope of people being tortured by car batteries is entirely a myth. That the voltage of the batteries is so low it would do next to nothing. So it's not going to knock you out, let alone kill you. It's not going to kill you, let alone knock you out. Additionally, she's wearing shoes, which often have rubber soles or some kind of other insulating factor between her foot and the puddle that she's standing in addition to reducing the number of contact points that she has. So this does not MacGyver. I'm sure she would be yeah, it is. I assume she would be quite amused by his attempt and then stab him to death.
Well, we got a CNC machinist right here. This guy's, I'd say, more techie, not tech, but engineer-ish than both of us. But Beau, what do you think on the coolant?
No, it's not going to do anything. First off, the coolant's going to be hot, right? Because they've been driving this entire time. I don't know how he connected to the battery. I watched it several times and I couldn't. And there's no way he could get to the battery from where he was. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Jeeps too much, but
I wondered the same thing you did because I looked at that and they have to do the spark thing with the sparking sound effect to let you know that he's hooking it up to something electric. But I'm like, he's under there. What is he connecting it to?
yeah, exactly. So it was clever. It was a clever thing to write up, but it won't work in real life, unfortunately.
And so then she falls into the puddle of still electrocuted coolant, and that is the end of Axminster 3.
Still looks good down there, though. Still
yes.
Pretty doable, I'd say,
yeah.
Even down there in that state, yeah.
In this case, he zapped her off.
Yeah, she was just off. This plan never went off.
Yeah. And then he got her off that puddle of electrocuted.
Right.
Yeah. It's only
Lee David's load off, as you mentioned, probably would have written some better than this had he kept writing episodes, but he just did the pilot pretty much. Created the character and he was out.
He did. Yeah, no. Every time I see his name on that, I think he gets his top billing, and he did one episode. One. It's
well,
amazing.
He didn't even do an episode. I guess I don't know if he wrote the pilot.
He wrote the initial. He wrote the initial script that then got turned into the pilot episode. Right. We have a very abbreviated Axminster 4, which is the end of the show. They go to the board meeting, which is now 3 weeks later. They're not there, and the evil lawyer is like, well, I guess that means we win. And then that dramatic moment, Mac comes in all blinded and stuff, and Nikki and Peter with him. And Mac's like, I don't think you're going to be here to see the result of this survey.
Our survey more than justifies the 18-month impact study. However, I think Mr. Knapp will be behind bars a touch longer than that.
What is that supposed to mean?
Mr. Knapp is directly responsible for a conspiracy to commit murder.
That's outrageous.
This is libelous. You have no proof of such an absurd accusation.
Yes, we do, Mr. Knapp. We have direct testimony.
It's Deborah.
Don't be so surprised. I'm a negotiator, Mr. Knapp. You know that. Testifying against you is just the best deal I could make.
Well, she told him off.
Yeah, I was trying to think of one, and that's the one.
That's a good
I
one.
was
That's
trying,
good
like,
one.
there's got to be another one in here. And that is The Negotiator.
I do not know if you guys know this, and I might be wrong, but I don't think so. And I waited to the end of the episode to say it. This is Nikki's last episode.
Oh no!
I think this is it.
Is that why they cut her hair?
They cut her hair, then they cut her from the show.
Yeah. They started with
Oh.
the hair, and they were like, let's just go the rest of the way.
Kill off the dog, neighbor's dog. Goodness gracious.
I could not remember if they killed her off in the series or if she just faded away. And you're telling us she just fades away, huh?
As far as I know, she ain't gonna be back. This is it.
I love you saying as far as I know, as if there's not an easy way we could just find out. But yeah, next
We
few
can have a
episodes-
Nikki retrospective at some point, but I liked the Nikki character. I get that there's a vibe in the community that she's not the greatest. I think it's a huge missed opportunity they had with her and Richard's chemistry that could sometimes work. So, I mean, it's called MacGyver, not MacGyver and Nikki. So she's gone. But I think it was a missed opportunity they had with her character.
What if she comes back as Lisa, the dead Russian former girlfriend?
I mean, I'm not going to know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. She could come back next episode and be Lisa. It turns out I was not killed in that helicopter, so I love you. And Jeff's like, wow, look at this. You probably wouldn't even remember Lisa from the first 2 episodes of the season. Like, who's this new Lisa broad?
I would remember. I would remember the plot and the story and everything, but like
Yeah.
you can might as well put like a white circle where people's
my
faces are
gosh.
for me.
Well, we've recapped and ridiculed this one, but now let's review The Negotiator.
Name's MacGyver.
I'll go first because I feel good about it. Beau, you chose a good episode here. This is on the short list of my favorite MacGyver episodes. Okay, first of all, you got Trumbo. As soon as I see David Aykroyd, who is now my favorite Aykroyd, as much as I love
He's
Dan
in it for
Aykroyd.
like his total screen time is less than a minute. I think he has 4 lines.
That's the power of Trumbo's world.
Trumbo's world.
Dan Aykroyd, I appreciate the SNL. I appreciate you coming up with the idea for Ghostbusters and Twilight Zone. But David Aykroyd, you're my favorite Aykroyd of all time. So you got Trumbo. You've got MacGyver taking art classes, drawing a goalie, having his gorgeous woman next to him do a river otter, and a discussion about muskrats versus river otters. I love it. Mac playing guitar. Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention, Mac comes home. We've got a new liquid to add to the diet, but it stays in that same brain. He's got a gallon of apple cider that he takes out of the fridge and chugs some apple cider. So we're going to add that to the Mactail, which is pretty much ginger ale, shaved cubes, and apple cider. And
You could do worse than that.
so you've got that muskrat action. You've got, and then later we even forgot to mention in the montage that Deborah is doing a theme park, an amusement park style caricature of MacGyver in a pencil sketch with a giant head. What is it? Are you going to sell these on the boardwalk? What?
He comes around and looks at it. He's like, "Oh, you."
What is going on? She's got a side gig at Coney Island. So you've got the laughs of a cheesy episode, but then you've got suspense. And you've got him, getting blown up. A great shot of a dummy hitting the water and staying there. So you've got Deborah's a great villain. This is a great villain. She's fun, beautiful face, a cool line. I don't drink coffee, neither do I. I'm going to try it at Publix very soon. And so 1 to 10, 0 to 10 mullets. By the way, it's got an 8.1. It's got an 8.1 IMDb.
That's high.
I've got 8 mullets.
Wow. 8 on IMDb. That seems really high. I don't remember any out of the 7s. I enjoyed it. I agree. The hit girl was terrific. Christian Alfonso, she's beautiful. It's almost distracting. But on the whole, I found the episode kind of just meh. Nothing really sticks out about it. The main plot, the A plot about the marina is sort of irrelevant. It's just there to have Hit Girl and MacGyver have their scene together. Nothing moved me. I don't have the emotional attachment to this marina. I'm not concerned about MacGyver getting killed by this woman. So, it's average to above average, but I think I'm just going to give it 5 mullets. A 5 mullet affair.
That hurts my soul. I don't want to.
I don't want to shit on a Patron's episode. So I'm not it's not bad, but to me it falls into this muddled middle of there's so much of the season that is good but not great.
I disagree, but Beau, go ahead. Tell him how he's wrong.
Well, you have the emotional aspect of MacGyver being fooled, which is something we don't, see very often. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good episode. I don't understand though. Would killing off MacGyver really stop this study? Would it stop the Phoenix Foundation? I don't think so. I think they would continue. So I think they're kind of wrong there. But yeah, I really enjoyed the episode, and if I was going to rate it, I'd give it 8 mullets as well.
I give it an 8. Jeff gives it a 5. Divided by 2, and you get.
This one's rated 7 out of 10 mullets.
Wait, that would be a 6.6, right?
6.5, so it's a 7. It registers as a 7. So I'm happy to see, despite your sabotaging efforts, Jeffrey.
The rule's really flexible. It comes into play when Sam wants to push the number a little bit.
Not true.
Well, at work, we do round up out of 5, so yep, that MacGyver's.
Let's crunch the numbers now. Is where we count up the MacGyverisms from the episode. And Jeff, was he 0 for 2?
He's 0 for 2. Now, he's been on a heater for the last 4 or 5 episodes. It's been a while. This is a complete bust. These MacGyverisms are quite obviously an absolute afterthought, which is fine because there's plenty going on in this episode. I'm not criticizing the MacGyverisms not being prominent about it. There's plenty to going on, but it's pretty clear that this is just like last second, we need some stuff in here.
Maybe.
0 for 2.
Okay, so his last 4 episodes, he went 0 for 1, 0 for 0, Noah, 3 for 4, and now 0 for 2. So 3 for 7.
He's cooling off.
Out of his last 4 episodes. How many times, guys, did someone say MacGyver? How many times? Because I counted on my phone. I sat there and wrote down every time someone said it. So how many times do you think?
Another thing I'm exceptionally good at. 17.
I'm gonna go.
I'm predicting Beau will beat you on this.
I'm gonna go 20.
Well, Beau, you beat him, but you guys were nowhere near as close because it was 31 times.
Oh,
We went into the 30s, guys, on this one.
Where? How?
It just happens. That a lot.
Beau, do you remember MacGyver literally every like minute and 10 seconds?
I don't. They sprinkle that in really well.
Who was saying it that much?
Well, it starts off. Remember, this starts off with this the first clip. It gets said 3 or 4 times by that one guy he's talking to. Every time the guy's talking back to him, he says his name.
And we do have now actual confirmation from RDA himself that was a thing they were doing on purpose.
Right.
I don't know if we talked about it in the show, but Sam, you have long speculated like there's no way this is an accident, and you were right.
How about the most fake make funnable moment? Oof, got a lot to choose from, which is another reason I love it. Is it the corpse, the body flopping on the water? Is it the river otter? Is it the silly montage? Is it the MS-DOS? How do I get him off? Which way do we off him?
Oh,
I don't know. What
I got to go with the kill him off. I got to go with the murder list.
The murder list.
The love him off to kill him off. That's too much for me. It's love him off. I love it. It's too great.
I'm gonna go with the P rattling off the license plate. Just right off top of his head.
Okay. Dark Horse kind of. You know what? And I'll say it's the dummy flopping up. We haven't seen a dummy that good since the first episode of this season, right? When the Russian woman throws a dummy down an elevator shaft. It just like flops all over.
The goon like walks over and looks over the edge and she's just like, whoop. And she had a bird in her purse.
Yeah, a pigeon was in her purse. Yes. You know, as good as season 3 is, it has less of these ridiculous things, but when they are there, they come through. They make you chuckle.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're not through the season yet, but there's not even a competition for the first 2 seasons, and it's like an entirely different show almost.
Is that how you remember it, Beau? You've seen all the episodes. Do you remember season 3 as standing out?
Yeah, remember when I started, it was season 2. That's the first DVDs that I got. So when I watched it was season 2, which I enjoyed. Then I went back to season 1, which I enjoyed less than season 2. And when I got to season 3, yeah, I thought that this show is maturing and doing really well. I liked season 3 and season 4 are my favorites.
Ooh, we have a whole nother good season to go. I like the sound of that.
Beau, we really appreciate you doing this again. I imagine even if you come to your senses and cut off the funding supply, you're still welcome to come back and guest host again with us next year. But either way, thank you so much. You're in
guys,
Making Fun of MacGyver.
hold on.
What?
Hold on. as long as you guys keep doing this, I'm not cutting off my Patreon. All right.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice of you. I mean,
Well, that's Sam's outro. That's Sam's outro. He says, "You keep
that's
coming
true.
back, and
That's
we'll
true.
keep making fun of MacGyver."
we really appreciate
taking
it.
it to heart.
Yeah, no, it's always fun with you. Does Beau Rigby? Of course it does. And any final thoughts from you, Beau?
Thank you guys for having me. I had a blast. I had a blast talking to you guys and listening to you guys. I thank you for all that you do. And I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, and of course, you're invited to the in-person celebration
Oh, yes.
Next late March, early April in Vancouver or California. We would love to have Beau Rigby there, and your wife or whoever else you want to bring.
I could very easily come. It wouldn't be a problem. And I would love to come hang out, see some of the sights, and hang out and do some stuff.
Apparently, California is on the way to the Philippines, so you have her drop you off. She can go on for your anniversary, celebrate there with her family while you're with us.
I'm so sorry.
She likes to travel too, so it wouldn't be hard to convince her to take a trip.
Awesome. Jeff, any final thoughts from you?
Beau, terrific. Again, you're excellent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, you're welcome.
I hope you've had a good time listening to us talk MacGyver today, and we'll thank our Patreon patrons. I'll do it quickly here, Jeff. We got Beau right here in Fort Myers, Florida, and did a great job right here. Thank you again, Beau, the #1 all-time patron of the show. That's awesome. Claire, New Jersey. This episode just screams Claire, by the way, because she often wonders how can MacGyver defuse bombs with paper clips, but he can't keep a girlfriend alive longer than 2 episodes. Claire, this was not his fault. Okay, this is Christian. This is her fault. So don't blame Mac on this. But go to deadfictionalgirlfriendsreport.com for the answer to that and more. Christian in Norway. We saw Christian recently for our monthly hangout. He's doing well there. And he might join us next year at the hangout. And Simon in Habo, Sweden. Simon, we know you think
Trumbo's World
is the best episode of MacGyver. We might agree, but Jeff doesn't agree so much that he can recognize David Aykroyd when he sees his face again. But there you go. We're always looking for new friends, so please feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, email. Leave a message on that hotline at 904-419-3310. And if you'd like to throw something in the tip jar and get the perks that come with it, it's patreon.com/makingfunofmacgyver. But above all else, keep coming back because we are going to keep making fun of MacGyver. So for Beau and Jeff, I'm Sam, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
I don't drink coffee.
Neither do I.